This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. This is a show where we talk about your work, we talk about your relationships, we talk about your money, and we talk about you right in front of you. It's a free call at 888-825-5225. Some say the advice is worth exactly what you pay for it. 888-825-5225. One of the things we do around Ramsey is a brand called Entree Leadership, where we talk with small businesses and business leaders around the globe, but particularly in the United States, about how to run a business properly and how we've grown our business from a card table in my living room and to a major national brand. How do we do this? What are the steps? What have we done? How do we run a business? And in the process of doing that, one of my favorite leadership writers and speakers has become one of my best friends. He's just a great guy. Pat Lencioni is with us, has written many, many, many best-selling books, and hanging out with us for, all day just about. We've had you on every show in here. You're kind of popular when you come in the building.
It's a party.
It's a party, baby. Pat speaks at Entree Leadership Summit this coming May, among many others. Jay Leno will be there. Me, and I'm trying to think of all the other people. Deloney, of course, will be speaking, and Coleman will be speaking, and I'll have to think of all the rest of them. But it's going to be a lineup. It'll be another party. About 3,000 folks will be there, and we are really, really excited about that. Oh, Jocko's coming back this year. Yeah, that'll be good. And I found the list here. Will Garrido. Oh, man, Will is incredible. Have you ever met Will?
I have not.
Oh, you're going to love him. And Dr. Henry Cloud will be back, our friend as well. Janie Kern-Lima, as I said, Jay Leno, Jade Simmons. Jade is an excellent speaker, so you'll look forward to hearing her. It's a great lineup. The Entree Leadership Summit, Orlando, Florida in May. Make sure you make plans to attend, but Pat's hanging out with us today. Welcome back.
It's great to be here. It's so much fun.
We appreciate you. The book that we have adopted around here, many of them, the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team is going around this place all the time. Apparently there's a lot of dysfunction in here. We need to do it over and over again, but we do it all the time. We do conflict well. The advantage has gone around here. And certainly Ideal Team Player has become the handbook of our recruiting and our deciding if we're going to keep people in HR and that kind of a thing. The Hungry, Humble, Smart model is just lights out. And the new stuff that you're working on is... it's, shall we say, genius. The Working Genius.
Yeah.
It's really good.
I appreciate that. It came about by accident. I've never worked on anything that I've been more excited about than this. So the model is called the 6 Types of Working Genius. And David, I was here about a little over a year ago when we launched this. Almost 250,000 people have taken it. The stories we're getting...
I was one of the first ones to take it.
Yeah.
You sent it to me, and you
we
went...
We tested you on it.
Yeah, and you went, it's accurate, because there is no genius. I didn't break the model. I didn't break the model. It ferreted me out. But yeah, it's these things... No, the book is out?
No, the book is not out. There's a shortage of trees, or a shortage of paper, I should say, not trees. Yeah. But so it's going to take longer to print this darn thing, if you believe that.
Okay, but it's rumors, yeah.
So it's going to be out this late spring, early summer.
And we started buying trees in August to put out a book yesterday. So Everyday Millionaire, Baby Step Millionaires came out yesterday, and yeah, we were fighting tree shortage all the way back in the summer.
Isn't that crazy?
Getting ready for this, paper costs too through the roof.
Right.
But yeah, all that aside, Working Genius book is underway, and the assessment is available today. Let's talk about what this thing measures, these 6 types of Working Genius.
So there are 6 activities, Dave, that are required in any kind of work. And the corresponding, there's 6 geniuses that people have, God-given talents that give them joy and energy. But we only have 2 of the 6. So we need all 6 to whether we're running a radio show or running a company, planning a family vacation, running a home, a marriage, anything else. We need all 6, but every individual just has 2. And the 2 areas of genius are where you get joy and energy, and you tend to do better, you're more successful, you make more money, and you come home from work a lot happier.
It's like you're a natural.
You're a natural. And God lets everybody be a natural, but if you don't know what you're a natural at...
and your job description is for your 2 weakest ones, you're screwed.
There's a lot of people listening to this show, Dave, that are miserable at work, and it's because they don't realize that they're doing exactly what God didn't intend them to do.
Intended for them to not do.
Right.
Yeah.
So this assessment that takes 10 minutes to complete, And you get the result. The stories we've gotten, Dave, a woman called us and said she was about to sell her business. She was in the staffing business. She took the assessment. That very day, she was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing the wrong things as CEO. I need to do the things I'm best at, reorganize my team to do the things I'm not best at. She decided she was going to completely reorganize. She's happier. They're more successful than they've ever been.
And she didn't sell it.
She did not sell it because it was just a matter of the wrong skill set. We had another guy who was about to go to a performance review, and he knew it wasn't going to be pretty. He did the assessment, and he looked at the results. It takes 10 minutes, and he looked at the results and said, well, crap, I'm in the wrong job. He went to his managers and said, this says that this is what I'm good at. Is there any way I could use these things? They said, we have another job over here. That would be perfect. The guy got a raise because he actually had vocabulary for saying, this is what I'm great at. And they said, we need that.
Instead of getting smacked down. What are the 6 geniuses?
The first one is the genius of wonder, which is the people that have their head in the clouds. They ask questions like, why is the world the way it is? Is there a better way to do this? I wonder what our customers really think. They ponder things. It's at 50,000 feet. It's really important, but a lot of times people don't value that. I was working with a high-tech company who was behind the market in their products. They did the assessment. None of their executives had wonder. In fact, most of them had it as their lowest area.
They're screwed.
Their frustration. And they said, this is why we're behind.
No wonder you're behind the market, yeah.
And the CFO said, we better hire a wonderer or get more people in here to help us wonder. The next one is invention. This is something I like. And that is, these are people that love to. They're just built to come up with new ideas. They do it even when it's not called for. And so they like a clean slate. They like doing things from scratch. And they just love to invent. The next one is discernment. This is one of yours. This is your chief area. And that's why I watch you when you're taking calls. Discernment is when you can just get information and you just parse it in a way that uses instinct and intuition and variable thinking to come up with ideas and solutions, and you evaluate things very quickly. It's not magic, it's just the way God wired you. So discernment is really important. Once you discern an idea, then somebody has to galvanize it. And that's the person who just loves to sell. They love to get up in front of people and say, let's go, let's do this. This is going to be great.
Lead the charge.
Yep. And I can do that, but it's not one of my areas of genius. And when I have to do it too much, I get burned out.
Yeah.
That's what brought this whole model about. I was burned out in my own company. And people said, what's going on with you? And I said, I don't know. And that's how we figured this out.
Okay, so wonder, invention,
discernment,
galvanizing.
The next one is called enablement. And this enablement in a good way. These are the kind of people that you go to them. They're fabulous on a team. And you say, we need help. And they're like, got it. I know exactly what you need. I'm going to make that happen. The last one is called tenacity. And that is people who just love to finish stuff. That's your other genius.
Yeah.
They're like, no BS. Can we just push this across the finish line?
Get it done. Get her done. Get her done. Check
The
it out.
6 types of working genius.
Pat Lincioni with me this half hour. We're going to come back, take some calls for him. WorkingGenius.com. If you want to take the assessment, enter the promo code Ramsey. You get 25% off. It's usually $25. That'll make it $18.75. Oh, come on. You spent that just thinking about this. This is the Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. Welcome back to the Ramsey Show. Pat Lencioni, my guest this half hour, one of our favorite leadership speakers and teachers around the world. We've learned so much from him. He teaches at Entree Leadership Summit almost every year, and will be this coming May as well. If you don't have your tickets yet, there's quite a lineup. Probably one of the top leadership events of the year coming up in Orlando in May. I think maybe sold out. I may need to quit pushing it, but find out before I run my mouth here. But we were just talking about his new assessment. It's not that new, about a year old, with a book coming out as soon as we get some trees, called The Genius, Your Working Genius. Go to workinggenius.com, enter the promo code Ramsey for 25% off the assessment, normally $25. It's $18.75. These segments go so fast with a discount. If you put in the Ramsey promo code, it knocks $25 off. Okay, so these segments go so fast. I want to make sure we emphasize the importance that this is not merely for work. It's not merely for someone square in the middle of their career or merely for a corporate leader. It's for just about anybody that's getting close to wearing adult clothes.
Yeah. You know, we had a pastor call us and say he thought he felt terrible about his job, about being a pastor. He thought maybe he shouldn't have been one because he wasn't good at sermons. And he didn't understand that, and he felt terribly guilty. He looked at it and he said, oh my gosh, I don't have wonder or invention. That's where a lot of these sermons come from. But I have these other things. Oh, I don't have to feel bad about this anymore. I'm going to get people to help me with this. And he said 15 years he felt bad about it. Maybe he shouldn't have been in that job. My favorite story is a guy who called and said, hey, Pat, I thought my wife didn't like me. And we laughed, and he goes, I really thought that she was kind of down on me all the time because I'm an inventor. So he'd come home and he'd say, honey, I have a great idea for our family or whatever else. She was a discerner. So she would say, out of love, well, here's why that might not work.
And she's a dream killer.
Right. And they literally took this on their anniversary, he said. And he said, suddenly she goes, I'm loving you when I do that. And he was like, oh my gosh, she's not against me. She's trying to help me. But I just think, I don't know how anybody, if you're a high school student or a college student, or if you're retiring, figure out what your geniuses are, because that's where you're going to get joy and energy. And you talk about financial peace. Having that peace of knowing you're doing what God intends you to do is so powerful.
Big deal. It's a big deal. Workinggenius.com. Go take the assessment. You'll be glad you did. We're kind of big on assessments around here. We've got a bunch of them floating around the building. We've done a few. We've recommended a bunch from other people as well. Our friend Les Parrott, his Symbis assessment for people getting ready to get married is absolutely incredible. Yeah. None of us that have assessments or create them or have these ideas around them believe that, that anything's absolute. But what it does is it gives you a tendency, it gives you a lane to run in. And you can swerve a little in that lane if you want to.
Absolutely.
But you just, when you take one of these things and you have a little better understanding of who you are, then it always leads you to more success.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Dave, what this does, this is all about work too. It's very specific to work. So it's not just your personality that's like getting things done. Mm-hmm. But what happens in the workplace is that we do two things that we shouldn't do. We judge others unfairly, mm-hmm. and we judge ourselves and feel guilty. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you look at somebody and you say, gosh, she's lazy. Or that guy's not very smart. And then you look at their working genius and go, oh, she has no tenacity. Mm-hmm. It's just that she that's not laziness. She's got a work ethic, but she's not a finisher. Or that guy's really bright when it comes to implementing, but he's not an inventor. No. And so when we judge other people and attribute it to their virtues or lack of virtue, that's a really bad thing. It's so much better to go, oh, that's just how God wired you. Now, that doesn't mean we still don't have to do things.
And you still have to judge the virtues. I mean, because
you have to, but you got to parse those out.
Yeah, but if you have a job that is that needs completion to be part of the job, like a project manager, you need to drawstring this thing and get her done. And then you got someone that can't seem to do that, and it's this stuff, then they get accused of, the saying around here will end up being, oh, he can catch them, but he can't clean them.
Right.
That kind of stuff.
We need catchers and cleaners.
Yeah, exactly. Carol is with us in Alexandria, Louisiana. Carol, your question for Pat Lencioni.
Yeah, thank you both for having me on today. Pat, just for that, we are beginning to use Working Genius at our company. Oh, but my question's in a little different direction today. We are loving Working Genius. We use a lot of your resources on engagement, the team performance, advantage, all of that work. And we've also been looking at research from Marcus Buckingham on engagement and resiliency. So in that research, he talks about it being the frequency of one-on-one meetings and check-ins, not necessarily the medium, like in person versus virtual, or the depth of the content. I was looking at how that relates when we look at the 3 factors of job misery, specifically irrelevance and anonymity. How are you seeing that in the work that you're doing in terms of that frequency versus the depth of the content?
Dadgum, she knows your content better than you do.
I know. People come up to me and go, I love that character in your book. And I'm like, yeah, tell me more about that character, because I don't
remember when I wrote that.
Well, Carol, first of all, Marcus Buckingham and Dave and I sat down at Entree Leadership last year and talked about this.
That was a great meal.
It was. And so I think what he talks about, I think, is really important. The frequency of communication is critical. And the medium is not as important too. I mean, I've seen people build strong relationships over Zoom. I prefer it to be in person. Don't get me wrong. It should be as when you can. And then there's people that work right next to each other and don't develop relationships and don't have good talks. So I would say they go very much together. And I think you hit the nail on the head. Anonymity. If you're not having regular communication with somebody, they're not going to feel known. And irrelevance, if you're not spending time with them and talking about the work they're doing, then they're not going to feel like it matters. So I think you hit the nail on the head that's where Marcus's stuff and my stuff come together on the engagement. And what she's talking about is a book, Dave, that I wrote years ago called The 3 Signs of a Miserable Job. And I had to change the name because nobody could take it to work. So it's now called The Truth About Employee Engagement.
I published a book here called Quitter one time. Nobody could take that to work.
Right. Yeah. So I love, Carol, that you made that connection, because when it comes to employee engagement, what I say is if your manager knows you, if they remind you why your job matters, and you have a way to measure if you're doing a good job, you're going to love your work. And regular communication with your manager is critical to that. That sounds so obvious, but
it's just the tag teaming, the handoff of the baton with that regular frequency that ensures that you're touching all 3 of those job misery bases.
Exactly. Yeah. If there's not regular communication, you're not going to be able to do those things.
You can't ensure that that's occurring. If you meet once a year, then for a review, you're not getting. You don't know if those 3 things are happening or not.
Right, and every interaction shouldn't be formal. Like I'm sitting down with you. It's like you're talking in between things.
I have to put them on the calendar.
Well,
my calendar's full.
Yeah, you got to.
So to do one-on-ones, I got to book them.
For my immediate team, I'm around them a lot, but for other things, I do too. But you're busy. I know. I've seen.
Well, every time I'm around somebody, usually work. Otherwise, it's on a project of some kind. We're working on something. We're putting, we're doing an event tomorrow night. We're launching a book. We've got Pat Lencioni coming to town. Whatever it is, So I'm in a group setting. That's not conducive to one-on-ones usually.
If you rely on it being just haphazard, it's not going to happen.
I have to. Ding, ding, ding. I got to ring the bell. It doesn't work. Brent is with us in Madison, Wisconsin. Brent, your question for Pat.
Good afternoon, guys. Thank you for taking my call. Huge fan of the work you both do.
Thank you.
My question today is really around the ideal team player. So a little background, my corner of the business is about 88 total employees, both direct and indirect reports. About 15 months ago, I led my direct report leadership team through learning and implementing the ideal team player practices in our hiring process. And after a 12-month hiring cycle, we're feeling great about the candidates that we've brought on as team members. With that, when a new hire starts, they're gifted that book as part of their welcome basket to get on board with the concepts.
Yeah, we do too.
Our highly engaged team members.
Before we run out of time, quick question.
Sure. My question is, we've got folks on the highly engaged end that are on board with them, and new hires and those that we're coaching, but I got to get the ones in the middle on board and understanding the concepts. And within Working Geniuses, galvanizing is not our strength.
Okay.
Got it. Here's the thing. Sit down with those people in a room and just say, everybody, rank yourself first, second, or third on humble, hungry, and smart. Everybody's got an order.
You have to force rank them.
Yeah,
and then just do a little group teaching.
Yeah, and work.
And you don't have to be a good teacher or a galvanizer.
And
you
have everybody
put the concept out there. It'll germinate itself.
And people will say, "This is my third," and let's all talk about that.
Yeah,
and it makes a big difference.
Or you can pull off their answers into a one-on-one if you need to. If you got a problem.
Absolutely,
that's good stuff. Pat Lencioni, thanks for hanging out, brother.
Great to see you, Dave. God bless you.
Good to see you, man. This is the Ramsey Show. If you're not using PureTalk for your wireless, you're paying too much. PureTalk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to PureTalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to PureTalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. We are having at Ramsey. It is launch week for the new book, Baby Steps from Millionaires. It is selling at a blindingly wonderful rate. Thank you, people. We are so thankful for all of you. You are amazing. I hesitate to say how many of these books we've sold. It's nice. It's wonderful. Thank you. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. And a little preview. Are we supposed to preview this?
We could preview it. I'm fine with that.
Into the future, a couple of hours, George will be doing with his wife his debt-free scream. He's paid off his house.
Woo!
Woo! There we go.
I'm sure everyone listening did a woo, too.
I'll be doing that, too. I'll be doing it a lot.
I can't wait.
It's a signature woo, so there you go. And speaking of signature woos, on the stage right here in Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Brooks and Paige are going to kick off the debt-free thing. Welcome, guys. Good to have you.
Thanks. Good to be here.
Good to be here.
How much have you guys paid off?
$162,645.
Way to go. And how long did this take?
2.5 years.
Way to go. And your range of income during that time?
First year was about 55, and last year it went up to about 180.
Whoa.
Wow.
Nice jump. Very cool. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a registered nurse.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I'm a TV photojournalist.
Okay. Well, neither one of you have had anything to do in the last 2 years.
Definitely not. Very bored.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Way to go. Where do y'all live?
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Okay, cool. Well, way to go, you guys. What kind of debt was this $163,000?
Oh, Lord. A little bit of everything. We were certainly normal. We had credit cards, student loans, cars, maybe
You name it.
Yeah,
We
little
had it.
medical debt.
Yeah.
Y'all were just like pitiful normal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, disgustingly so.
Wow. What was the big one here?
Student loans. Altogether, our student loans topped in just over $100,000, I think. Wow. So most of it was that. Yeah.
Was that nursing school?
No, I have a degree before nursing school, so I was paying for the degree I didn't even use. So.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that one. Okay, very cool. Very cool. So how long you guys been married?
3 years in December.
Okay, so right after you come home from the honeymoon, it sounds like we made a list of the debts and had an oh my God moment or something. What happened? Tell me the story.
So I saw a high school classmate post about some success of paying off debt using your program, and leading up to the wedding, I was having a lot of unsettling feelings because I just felt like we were drowning in debt, and we financed the entire wedding. All $22,000 of that.
Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Then we got back, and it just felt like we were drowning, and we needed to do something. And I mentioned something to her about, it's like, hey, I saw this high school classmate that posted this on Facebook, and we checked it out. Kind of watched a couple of videos, wound up ordering your book, read the book, and then enrolled in an FPU class.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, look at you. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to guess and say Brooks is the saver.
No.
Absolutely
no,
not.
he's the spender.
Absolutely
Okay,
not.
he's the one that was feeling the weight of this.
Yeah, he went all in.
He was all like, "Oh, I'm stressed out. I'm freaked out.
Well,
I didn't think." Usually, spenders are like, "Woo! I'm in Congress. Who cares?" Yeah.
I'm the more emotional of us too, so I think that maybe had something to do with it.
Okay.
And
All right.
I was doing all the budgeting, and I was scared, but, he was just the free spirit, and I'm like, yeah, it'll be fine. One day we'll make more money, and it'll be fine. And I think when he approached me, it was like, okay, like, we're on the same page. Like, we know we can't sustain this, and we need to do something about it. So,
Yeah, so it's game on.
Game
Where you
on.
read the book and you went, okay, I'm going to turn this up a little hotter. We're going to go on through Financial Peace University.
I think within 6 weeks of getting married, we were starting our first budget and paying off debt and enrolled in an FPU class. We just we just took it right
So
to the finish line.
you kind of had this guilt about all of your free spiritness. You were doing all the spending, and you felt the weight of this, and you're like, we got to do something. We can't keep living like this.
Yeah, and it's kind of I've actually seen a few friends and tried to warn them about this, as we were like kind of the first of our friends to get married, and it felt like when we were engaged, everyone was kind of gallivanting us around and like gloating with us, and like we were going out and spending money, putting it on credit cards, going out to eat, spending stuff we didn't need to be spending, and then the reality set in after we got married that we can't live like this anymore.
Yeah. Wow. Very cool. I like that. That's true. I hadn't thought about that. You have to go on the after engagement tour.
Yes.
Yeah.
Parading you around, spending all of the money that you don't have.
Pretty much, yeah.
Look at this. Look at this. Look here. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah, that's great. I like that. That does happen.
So what were some of those sacrifices that you guys made? I mean, you were crushing it. You were throwing
God.
60,
Man,
70,000 a year at this.
You went nuts here.
We worked, I mean, the nature of our jobs, I mean, we worked nights, holidays, weekends. This was the first year we actually spent a holiday not at work. The pandemic actually really helped us because there wasn't anything to do. So we went to work. I mean, we would have done it anyway, but it was nice knowing that, we weren't missing anything.
Didn't you miss some Netflix series? I mean, there was a lot going on there.
We didn't catch Tiger King, but I think we're okay for it.
I think you're just fine. I can do
I watched it. You're just fine.
Yeah, it was easy for her to pick up hours and stuff at the hospital.
Yeah, if they came in and said, who wants to work extra, you're like, pick me.
Pretty much,
me.
yeah. When I stopped, they were like, why aren't you working so much anymore? I'm like, I don't have to.
Boom.
And it was just, they got used to seeing me there like 70 hours a week, and they're like, where are you?
And for me, I wasn't, I can't like pick up hours as much at the TV station, so I wound up driving a forklift on the side.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we pieced jobs together. I think 2020, we filed taxes on like 8 or 9 different W-2s. We did everything, you name it. We made some pretty big sacrifices, but we wouldn't change it at all.
Who were your biggest cheerleaders outside the two of you?
Well, these 3 people sitting right here. My parents are watching virtually.
And my dad couldn't be here today because had too much work to do. But our parents and our siblings and a couple of friends as well.
Yeah, some like coworkers, especially as we got close, we've inspired quite a few people to at least look at their finances, which that's a start. So
that's what happened with you. Some guy posted his story and you went, I want that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so who are the 3 people with you?
This is my mom, my brother, and my sister-in-law.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, good. Got to know who the posse is here. All right, good deal. Way to go, you guys.
Yeah.
How's it feel to be free?
It feels
unbelievable.
Yeah. If we can, so we just took a big celebration trip to Ireland, and
in December.
That's incredible.
We actually got quarantined at the end. We couldn't come home.
I got COVID and we couldn't fly back home.
And just knowing that we weren't even worried about money. We're like, this sucks.
We had to stay an extra 8 days and had to use our emergency fund to pay for the extra days there, but it was okay because we had the money.
Extended stay in Ireland. Worse things could happen.
I mean, we were stuck in a room, but we didn't have to worry about it financially.
Okay. Well, there's that. Okay.
They slide food
And
under
you're
the
sick.
door.
Yeah. And there's a part where you're sick. Yeah. But yeah.
They literally slid food under the door.
Yeah, it was quite, but it was the first vacation we'd taken, and it was like, we don't even have to worry about money. Like, this is not what we planned, but
I am stuck in a room, but I'm not driving a forklift. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Good, guys. Way to go. I'm so proud of y'all.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay, now you've been through the Financial Peace University class. Somebody's getting ready to start right now that's listening at this moment. What do you say the key is to getting out of debt? You were so successful.
I think it's relentless determination. There's going to be times where you want to give up. It's having that gazelle intensity. I mean, like, to the point where she and I both actually have tattoos of gazelles that we got after we got debt free. That's how much the gazelle intensity meant to us, because that was the key. There were so many times we wanted to give up. There's so many times being in our 20s and seeing our friends around us go out and do all this stuff and travel, and we had to be so disciplined and intense about it, and it paid off.
Was it worth it?
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, proud of you. Again, way to go. Well, we've got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires. It's ironic that this is the week the book comes out, and it's the next chapter for your story. That's where you're headed. We'll also give you an extra copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give away so you can disrupt somebody's life, and you never know. They might use it as a coaster, but they might actually read it. So sometimes that happens too. So good stuff, you guys. We're very proud of you. Well done. Brooks and Page, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, $163,000 paid off in 2.5 years, making 55 to 180. What's the secret? Intensity and a lot of hard work. Well done, guys. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Wow!
Never gets old.
Woohoo! There it is. Yeah!
Game on.
It's here tomorrow night, Thursday night, January the 13th, is the Building Wealth for 2022 event. Rachel Cruz, George Camel, my co-host today, and I will be talking to you about how to build wealth in this year, in this current environment. What's working, what's not, how, why, the proven plan, not this discussion of glitz and glitter and confetti cannons, but what's real. How do you really build wealth? We're going to talk about it tomorrow night. We've got about 1,700, 1,800 people or whatever scheduled in the sold-out event in person. Sold out very, very quickly. And guess what? We've got a little over 100,000, approaching 130,000 people going to watch online a live stream. And it's free to watch online if you want to watch on the live stream. 7 p.m. Central Time, Thursday night, January the 13th. How do you watch for free? You just go to RamseySolutions.com right now, /wealth, RamseySolutions.com/wealth, and you can register for free for the live stream. We'll send it to you. You'll be able to watch it. You're going to learn all about all the stuff that's happening out there. We got a logical, sound discussion about the whole process, and I'm looking forward to George and Rachel and I being able to talk to you guys for a couple hours tomorrow night. It's going to be a lot of fun. And it is timely. I've been doing interviews, George, all week for the book release, and some of the things we're going to be talking about come up almost in every conversation.
Very naturally. This is all the trending stuff. I get messages every single day, and people are wondering what to do. They're worried. There's some FOMO. There's crypto over here. What about real estate? What do I invest in? What's an annuity? There's all these questions, and I love how simple you make it. And logic and common sense, it's wild how much it's countercultural these days.
It's so rare it's having a superpower. But yeah, I was on Fox Business Monday morning.
Yeah,
and
it was
the first thing on there. They start talking about the dive. The crypto's taking a big dive.
Yeah, it's crashing.
It's been had a bad week, and that's certainly not necessarily incumbent about what's the crypto's entire future is, but it's just they want to talk about it because whatever bleeds it leads, right? And so we get to have a crypto conversation in the middle of the Baby Steps Millionaire book, but that's okay.
Part of it.
It's okay because hey, what works and what doesn't. The Baby Steps Millionaire book is about what is the fastest right way to build wealth. The fastest, shortest distance, right way. By right way, I mean has the highest probability of actually occurring. And that's important.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of ways you could get rich. But now, 10 years later, when all the confetti has settled, who really won? How did it really work out for you? And guess what? There's some data on that.
Yeah.
A lot.
And I've been listening to the audiobook of Baby Steps Millionaires, really enjoying that. And you talk about there's a right way, but there's also a lot of wrong ways that can distract you along this journey. And so that's just as important, avoiding those traps and focusing on what works.
Deborah's in Erie, Pennsylvania. Hi, Deborah. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you today?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I was wondering if you could give me some ideas on how to interview for a financial advisor. I've had a couple of bad experiences, and I just don't know where to progress from here. If there's certain talk points that I should be looking for or asking about.
What was the bad experience? What happened?
Well, I had a financial advisor where I had my 401, my Roth 401 with, and they've been good for like 12 years. Well, they just switched brokers like 6 months ago, and since they switched brokers, I've been losing like $1,000 a month. So I need to move that somewhere because I no longer.
Why were you losing $1,000 a month?
Good question. I called and left several messages. They'll get back to me. No phone call.
Okay. I think I found the problem. Okay.
Yeah.
Problem's not
and
them. Problem's not them. It's you.
It's me.
How was that for a slap in the face?
Well,
Here's a slap in the face. No, I'm messing with you a little bit. But here's the thing I figured out. Most of the time when I interview people and I ask that question, it comes back to something like you said. And here's what I want you to shift what you want from a financial advisor. Not to dumb it down, but I want to change the responsibility. Okay? Number one, you should never invest in something you don't understand. So the next time that you lose $1,000 a month and I ask you why, you can tell me. Rather than my advisor didn't do his job. No, that's your job. You need to understand what's going on with the investment. The advisor's job is to advise. Your job is to own the money. Does that make sense?
Right. Well, yes,
Okay.
I get reports, but it doesn't really list what I'm in.
And you don't know what the flip's going on.
Group numbers. Yeah,
you don't know what's
really
going
don't.
on. So your financial advisor is a failure and did need to be fired, but not because he lost $1,000 a month, but because he never bothered to let you know ongoing why your investments are doing what they're doing and what they are, so you know, and you can say, oh, I'm losing $1,000 a month and I really don't care because I think it's a temporary thing because I understand this. Or I'm losing $1,000 a month because I'm in the wrong stupid stuff and I need to move it because I understand it. So the second thing is, after you say, I'm never investing in anything again, I don't understand and I don't keep up with, the second thing is I never hire another financial advisor that has the heart of a salesman again. You hire one that has the heart of a teacher. Because you don't need to be sold their services. You need to be taught what's going on in your life. This is your freaking money. And here's the irony. You probably have more money than he does.
Could be.
Yeah. And so you probably, at the core, you probably actually might know as much as he knows on a lot of things except nuances. So I teach America how to handle their money, and I have a financial advisor. But I don't use them to manage my money. I use them to teach me what's going on, and then I make the decisions with them on how I'm going to manage my money. I never say my financial advisor manages my money. I manage my money with their advice. If you see the difference, you feel the difference on your shoulders? I just put the weight on your shoulders.
Well, right. It's having someone show me how to cipher through all these codes and checks and balances.
And don't put it into one of those codes. Don't put it into one of those codes unless you know what the flip it is.
Right. Well, that was another thing. The investor that I spoke to through my local bank, where I have like half of my money at, I went to him and I said, hey, I got this money I want to invest. Could you give me like maybe 10 mutual funds that are paying over 10% a year and let me choose one?
What he
that
said?
Has a long stand. He said he he gave me a list of other things that weren't even mutual funds.
Boom.
Yeah, because because he works for a bank. You know, you don't go to the muffler shop for your transmission either. That's rule number 3. So here's what I'm going to tell you to do. I want you to go to...
That was the second one.
Yeah, I want you to go to RamseySolutions.com and click on SmartVestor. That's a group of financial advisors that don't work for me, but that have agreed to do things the way I teach, and mainly with the heart of a teacher. And you got gravel in your voice. You got grit. I like you a lot. And I want you to use that and say, okay, this is my freaking money. You people are going to do what I say, and you're going to teach me about this, or I'm not going to use you. I'm going to fire your butt. And that's how you need to treat this. Anytime you get anyone in the financial world who's telling you what to do instead of teaching you, run and fire them.
Yeah, and you need to be interviewing them, asking questions like, how much access will I have to you? How much can I communicate with you? How often will you communicate back? What's your experience like? What clients do you work with? Ask good questions, and the SmartVestor pros will not steer you wrong.
Yeah, and if you don't like one of them, don't use them. You know? And if you don't like my advice, don't use it. But know what the flip you're doing, and take your personal responsibility for the management of your money with other people helping you and teaching you. It's my responsibility to put together my estate plan. My estate planning attorney shows me some good ways to do it, and I decide.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. Did you know The Ramsey Show is one of the most popular podcasts in the world? Subscribe or follow today wherever you listen to podcasts.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. This is the show where we talk about your relationships, your work, your money, and you. George Camel, Ramsey personality and host of The Fine Print, another Ramsey Networks production. Podcast you need to check out. Just finished up its first season, is my co-host. Open phones here at 888-825-5225. This is book launch week. The new book, Baby Steps Millionaires, is out. It is selling at an unbelievably wonderful pace. Thank you, America. Wow. Crazy. I appreciate it very much. And of course, it is How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth, and how you can too. You can get the book anywhere great books are sold, including RamseySolutions.com. Kayla starts off this hour in Boston. Hi, Kayla. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. How can George and I help?
So I'm just having trouble with my monthly budget. I've been budgeting for a while, but me and my husband seem to not be on the same page with this one little thing. And it's when say your first paycheck doesn't come until the middle, like 6 days into January. Would you still put the items you're buying, like groceries and stuff, into December? Or would you put that into January, even if you haven't been paid in January yet?
So you're saying you have a line item in your budget and the funds won't be there in time?
No, so we have money that we haven't put into our savings account yet. We have leftover money and money that we budgeted for. But so my husband's saying when I buy groceries on January 2nd, say, then that should be in the January budget, even though we haven't started we haven't gotten paid in January yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, that's okay. I mean, you can use the money that on your December 31st paycheck, and that's going to fund part of January, right?
Right. So we're just getting confused because we're both doing different things. So I don't know if there's a better way to...
Yeah, you can't both do different things. That right there tells me there's a bunch of breakdown. You don't have two budgets. You have one.
Right. And we have the same EveryDollar account. So when we're putting things in, it's just getting messed up, and I just wanted your help to get us on the same page because we both love you. So
yeah, well, we appreciate that. So number one, whatever we do, we both have to be doing it. Both of you doing two different game plans is going to screw up the math, as you probably already discovered. And that's going to cause a bigger fight than actually. Yeah, that's going to be a bigger fight than anything else you do. So, but the so the way we did it is. It's okay to set up January's budget and have some leftover money from December to fund until the first check comes in January. But January, if you buy food on January 2nd, that should show up in January's budget. It should show up on the 2nd that you bought food. Now, where did the money come from? Well, there's money in your food envelope left over because you knew you weren't going to get a check when you did your December budget, and so you had money to fund into the first week of January. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. That's what my husband was saying, but I was overcomplicating things, I think.
Yeah. So in your case, if you said, the problem is that everything is set up on a monthly basis. If you were just running it week by week, or running it not counting the first of the month, because you're not getting paid 1st and 15th, that wouldn't be unusual. But the EveryDollar software doesn't run that way, and it makes it really hard to keep up with. It really runs on the calendar, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what we use. We use EveryDollar.
Yeah, so you said that. So that's good. Thank you. And it's good. It's good software. It's very robust. It does the job. But yeah, you've got to figure out a way to cover it. Kind of like if you got paid at the first of the month, but your cable bill comes towards the middle before the second check comes. Then you wait to pay the cable bill until out of the second check. You don't pay it out of the first check because it's right up there on it.
Right.
Make sense?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay. Hey, that's a really good question. Here's what's really important about it. The details of the answer don't matter. What matters is two things. One is you're actually freaking using a budget. That is huge. That's huge. And the second thing is that you are engaging. You're engaging in your relationship, and you're doing it with your husband. Otherwise, the fact, if you had not had this conflict because you either weren't doing a budget or you weren't doing it together and bumping into each other, that would be a bigger danger sign than the nuances of this answer.
It's almost semantics, and the fact that you guys are on the same page, both doing one budget together, willing to do it, that's huge. But Dave, we run into this occasionally, and it comes down to having a little buffer. You know, we're not saying with zero-based budget doesn't mean you have $0 in your bank account every month.
That's a good point, too.
And so having a little buffer in there can really help. Some people like to get a month ahead. If that's something that you can do, and that gives you some peace to say, hey, we've got $2,000 in our checking account. This is if you're later on in the baby steps, but that can sometimes help couples get over the idea of we're going to run out of money mid-month.
Yeah, what you do need to set is some kind of a buffer and just make that your baseline. We don't go below that in the checking account, except in dire situations. But I mean, at least keep like $100 in there. You do not want to run the checking account on zero balance.
You don't want to overdraft because
you're going to be running down to zero all the time. You're going to bump into stuff. That's not good. So you need to keep some kind of a buffer in there, and that's your baseline. And you never go below that. You treat that like that's zero. If it's $100 or $50 or $1,000, whatever it is. We used to in the old days. That's 1,000 years ago. We keep 1,000 in there at least because that got free checking. If you left $1,000 in there, I don't even know what it does now. I don't keep up with it that close in terms of what's free. I've got so many bank accounts and so many things here now. But and we keep a lot more than 1,000 in checking these days. But the point being that we that was our baseline. That was the floor, so to speak. We wouldn't get down below that. Very, very good question. That's very important. Thank you for joining us. Emily is in Portland, Maine. Emily, I'm not going to get to you. I looked up and saw the clock. I'm going to bring you back up a little while. So, George, what we've learned, this budget thing and this EveryDollar thing is really important because we've learned in almost 10,000 people, over 7,000 families going through Financial Peace University, the highest correlating behavior with success. Meaning if you said, Dave, tell me one behavior that's going to cause me to become successful doing the things in Financial Peace University, meaning getting out of debt, being generous, becoming wealthy, the number one thing that we see, and there's not even a close second, is couples doing a zero-based budget the way we teach together. using EveryDollar.
Yeah.
The ones that do that, their results are head and shoulders above everybody else. They're like, well, I'm going to take the class, and I'm going to ish this and ish that.
We don't really do a budget. And then you wonder why.
I kind of got it in my head. Or I do a budget, but it's not a zero-based. Or I'm not using the EveryDollar app because I don't like that. You know, your results are like 1/10 of the people that actually do that one thing properly. So her question is really vital.
Yeah, great question. On paper, on purpose.
Life is full of firsts. As the first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Jesse and Katie are with us from Fort Worth, Texas. It says on my screen you guys are debt-free. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Hi, Dave. Thank you so much.
Sure, thank you. Well done. How much debt have you paid off?
We paid off $60,000.
Cool. How long did that take?
It took about 2.5 years.
Way to go. And your range of income during that time?
We went from about $50,000 to $105,000.
Good. What do you guys do for a living?
I am a senior copywriter for an agency here in Plano, and
I'm a freelance writer, and I watch our child as well.
Way to go. Very cool. What kind of debt was this $60,000?
Well, we had a little bit of everything. We had a handful of credit cards, medical bills, taxes from our freelance business. We had a car payment and some student loans.
Wow, everything. You were normal.
Yeah.
Yes.
What woke you up? What happened 2.5 years ago?
Well, our the birth of our son kind of made us just evaluate things and how bad things had gotten, and we talked about it, and once we got plugged into an FPU class with our church, we really started to make some changes.
Yes, sir.
Wow. Okay. So nothing like having a baby to cause you to go, uh-oh, this just got real.
Right.
That was exactly it. Yes.
Yeah. Way to go, guys. Fun. So it all happens with FPU.
Yes, we had been living in Colorado, Dave, and we moved back to Texas to kind of start trying to get a grip on our finances. My parents really generously let us move in with them just so we could, just kind of start getting things together a little bit. And I had your name in the back of my head, and when I knew that we needed to start moving forward, I found a copy of the Total Money Makeover. And then Jess and I showed it to him, and we started kind of getting those glimmers of hope. And we knew the next steps needed to be going to FPU. So we found FPU at a church that was real close to my parents. And that church it's been our home church now for years. And so FPU really led us to that. And it's just, I can't tell you what a blessing that in itself has been. But yes, FPU really got it started for us.
I love it. So what were those steps you guys took along the way, and what was that kind of turning point where you went, oh my gosh, I think this is working?
Sure. Getting on EveryDollar was definitely key. once we started to do the budget and actually see just what we had coming in, where it was going, and talking about it together, that was having our monthly budget meetings, that was certainly key. But I think for myself, the really big thing that happened was just a paradigm shift when it came to debt. I just had to really change my thinking when it came to debt, and accept that it really was, accept that, the borrower is slave to the lender, and that's what helped kickstart it for me.
Wow. So the mindset turned into behavior change.
Right. Yeah. It was definitely. I always say it as I remember hearing Dave say at some point. A budget is telling your money where it's going to go instead of, your money just flowing away from you to people who don't manage it, flowing away from people who don't manage it well, and staying with people who do. And it was just really identifying the various forms of debt, because they don't always call it debt. Maybe overdraft protection or payment plans or whatever. But
yeah, they have a lot of way of disguising it. It's still debt. You're right.
Right.
That's good insight. So what's the name of the church that drew you guys in?
It's First Baptist Wiley.
Oh, very good.
And we would love to just give a shout out to the teachers of our class, Mike and Rhonda Logston. They took us through FPU. They still teach FPU at our church, and they are just really incredible. We still get emails from them like monthly, encouraging all of the students who've gone through their class, and they were just really incredible.
Sounds like super coordinators, and they're ending up recruiting people for the church too. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Very good. Good job, guys. Good job. Proud of you guys. Well done. Who was your biggest cheerleaders? Your coordinator for sure. Who else?
Yes, absolutely. Our coordinator, we owe a lot to my parents. They definitely supported us, in this journey along the way. And we also want to give one other shout out to Alex and Cheryl Klager, who went through FPU with us, and they actually came out to Nashville not too long ago, and they did a debt-free scream in the Ramsey parking lot, which was really special for them. So they brought their family out. But
nobody home. We're going to scream in the parking lot.
Kind of together.
That's good. I like it. That's fun. Well, we've got a copy of the new book, Baby Steps Millionaires, for you, because that's the next thing that's going to happen for you guys. You're going to move on and continue this journey and start putting your 15% away into retirement, and boom, get the house paid off. You're going to be Baby Steps Millionaires. That's your next thing. We're also going to send you a copy of the Total Money Makeover so you can give that away and be an encouragement to someone, get someone else started on their journey, okay?
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you, guys. I'm proud of you. Well done. All right, Jesse and Katie in Fort Worth, Texas, $60,000 paid off in 2.5 years, making 50 to 105. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt-free!
Yeah! That's how that's done. I love it. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings, free samples, free shipping. Always use the promo code Ramsey to get the best deal.
Today's question comes from Sarah in Georgia. We are paying off our student loans, and it'll take us another 2 years to get that completed. We'd like to get a will in place since we have 2 young children. We spoke to several lawyers, and they each quoted over $2,000 to get one done.
Lord!
We don't have that much extra cash and want to put money towards debt. We also have looked into online wills, but have been told by our CPA and others that this is like throwing money away, and it probably won't hold up in court.
Your CPA's an idiot.
Wow. We don't expect family to contest our wishes or fight over any money. We have 2 houses and have about $300,000 in investments. Should we purchase an online will or save up for an attorney to create one for us?
You need a new CPA because they don't know what they're talking about in this, and it scares me that they won't know what they're talking about on something else. Or they're trying to sell you their will.
I know. I'm curious, is there a relationship here with the CPA and the attorney?
Yeah,
this is interesting.
Back here.
No, don't spend $2,000 on a will.
No. I mean, most attorneys will do them for $300 to $500 on a basic thing, and you can go to Mama Bear Legal Forms for, I don't know, what is it, $100, $129 or something?
Yeah.
Get the full will kit. And
we
yes,
have that as a benefit.
The wills are organized online. The good ones, like Mama Bear Legal Forms, are done state-specific. And if you follow the steps for the state that you live in, yes, it will hold up in court. No, you can't go down to Staples and buy a will packet off the shelf that works in every state. That part your CPA would be right about. But what tells me is that your CPA does not know anything about online wills. A few years ago, I didn't either. But we've gotten to be knowledgeable about them because I had the same discomfort. But there are several companies, including Mama Bear Legal Forms, that do state-specific. That's what you're always looking for. Because state wills, probate law is state law. It is not federal law. So it is specific to your state. For instance, Louisiana, a lot of their law is very French-based, where a lot of the rest of the U.S. is English-based law. California, weird, because it's California.
Who knows what country that is?
Yeah, we don't even know what country that is. And so, but the different states have different laws. Some states are similar to others, and some of them are just completely whacked. So you need specific to the state you are occupying at the time of your death. What is your residence? So if you change states, you need a new will, by the way. MamaBearLegalForms.com. That's
the one we use. Me and my wife used it as a product benefit through Ramsey, and it's legit.
We give it to everybody here free as a benefit. So we wouldn't do that to our employees if we didn't think it worked. There you go. Good point. This is The Ramsey Show. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Erin is here with her daughter, Maddie. Hi, Erin. How are you?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
Better than I deserve. Welcome. Where do you guys live?
Live in Lee Summit, Missouri.
The Kansas City area?
Yes.
Awesome. Very cool. Welcome to Nashville. How much debt have you paid off?
Paid off $40,000.
All right. How long did that take?
24 months.
Good job. And your range of income during that time?
$48,000 and ended at $56,000.
Cool. Very cool. So what kind of debt was this?
One was a brand new SUV and 2 credit cards.
Wow. Okay. Very cool. So what caused all this to happen 2 years ago? What was your revelation, your lightning strike moment?
Well, I had bought a new house, and I had gotten some estimations on the cost of living. And unfortunately, a couple months in, I was getting real numbers, and it wasn't matching up with what my estimations were. Hundreds of dollars actually over what I was budgeting at the time.
Ouch.
And I didn't
sinking fast.
Yes. And I was panicking. And I was running out of savings. I'd used up almost all of my savings for the down payment. And there was a point where I had $2 left in my checking account and had almost no money left in my savings. And I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to live? How am I going to support my daughter and just keep the walls up?
Because I hear the rumor is Maddie, she likes to have like a heater that works and clothes and food and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
These teenage daughters, they're hard to get along with that way, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they like to eat regular and
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Every once in a while.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a healthcare interior designer.
Okay. Healthcare interior. What the flip is that?
I help design hospitals.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
That makes more sense. All right. I was somehow I visualized healthcare at home. I don't know
was
where
my
she
one and
didn't
only
say
guess.
home interior designer, but as soon as I hear interior designer, my wallet twitches. So,
So next time you're in the hospital.
It's my wife's favorite category. But yeah,
Someone chose this couch right here. Look
Yeah.
at that.
All right, there you go. There's
That's cool.
something like that. Good. Okay, cool. So you get in this fear mode. It's caving in on you.
Yeah.
What'd you do? How'd you find us?
So the church I was attending at the time was one of the host churches for Margin, Kansas City.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say I signed up at the time, but I couldn't convince myself that I could afford $100 to take the class. And it was just something that God put on my heart.
If you'd asked them, they'd have probably given it to you.
Probably.
Yeah.
I wasn't wise enough at the time. So I just kept wrestling with it. And I finally was like, I have to do this because I have no other options. I have to make a decision now. And so that's when I decided, okay, well, I'm still going to do FPU. It's just going to have to be independent. And I started on September 1st, 2019, and just stuck with it for the next 24 months. And I made some mistakes in there, brought a brand new SUV because I had another vehicle that was...
So you really didn't go through the class. What do you mean you just started doing, you started watching YouTube videos, or what are you saying?
So I brought the Ramsey Plus membership and got all the tools and the book.
Well, and you could watch FPU in that. That's how it works.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I just got my hands on anything I could and just listened to everything. And I just, I really just kept with it because 20 out of the 24 months I had major financial things that came up.
Wow.
And some planned for, most not planned for. I had a knee surgery, had a dog attack, emergency vet bills, my car was vandalized, my kitchen flooded. Absolutely everything was coming in, and it's like, I can't give up. I can't give up. And
you're a fighter.
So September 8th of 2021, I finally got some checks from a life insurance policy that I decided to cash out to help end my debt payoff process and get me into baby step 3.
Finished it.
And it did. And it was 2.5 months of fighting with the life insurance company to try to get it closed out. And I was just weary. I was so exhausted.
Good.
And that's really where my cheerleaders came in and really encouraged me at the end.
Who were your cheerleaders?
So family, mom, dad, stepdad, my good friend Ashley here, my daughter, and my financial advisor, because in the middle of all of that, when they made the mistake of buying a brand new car when I shouldn't have, I realized I need someone to speak specifically to my situation. And so that's when I hired a Ramsey financial coach.
Yeah.
And he helped me make better decisions.
Very good. Good. Very good. Cool. Well, you've done it. Yeah. So after, the weird thing is that when you finally get the other side of the debt and you finally get control of your money, it's funny to me how the emergencies leave.
Right.
It gets real calm.
Yeah.
Like scary almost, calm.
Yeah, it wasn't as intense with the emergencies that came up. I still had some that came in, but I was able to pay cash for it. And that was the big difference, because I cut up the credit cards, and I've never been in a position where I felt like I needed to get a line of credit or use a credit card after I got those baby steps down. I got the emergency fund and knew where every single dollar was going.
Yeah, but it truly is Murphy's Law that when you're broke, and I remember that first sharing to me, when you're broke, your life looks like a country song. I mean, the knee goes out, the dog gets bit. I mean, it's like a chorus in a song. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's like, how do you make this stuff up? You can't make it up. I mean, it's like only the devil is this creative. I mean, it's unbelievable. So, yeah, it's but then when you get the other side of it, you look back and you go, well, look at there.
Right.
It is just kind of like the storm clouds part, and it gets a little calm, and the sun comes out. I mean, it really does happen that way. It's really strange. Well, I'm proud of you.
Yeah,
you're a scrapper, girl.
Resilient.
You are a scrapper, and I'm sure Maddie's been watching you. She's got a good model now in how to be a warrior woman. You're awesome. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. It's good to have a mom that you can look up to that's like that. Very, very cool. Good stuff. All right. So what do you tell people the key to getting out of debt is now that you've actually done it?
Commitment. You have to you have to know what your plan is and keep that in front of you. I had this scripture up on my refrigerator, so that way I was looking at it every single day. This is what help keep me committed, and writing stuff on my mirror in the morning to remind me where I was at, who I was as a woman, and where my path was going. And just know that challenges are going to come up, and you have to decide, is it going to get you down, or are you going to, dig in and keep going? So you have to be committed.
Yeah.
Wow. Was it a specific scripture that you had up?
Yes. The poor are always ruled over by the rich, so do not borrow and put yourself under their power, which is Proverbs 22:7.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
That sounds like contemporary English version. Yeah, I like it. I like that version. That's good.
Yep.
That's the old rich rules over the poor, the borrower is slave to the lender is the old King James. Yeah, way to go. That's good. I like it. Boom. Kick it. Yeah. Done. Well done. All right, we got a copy of Baby Steps Millionaires for you. That's the next thing on your list for sure. Go on and be a millionaire now.
Yeah.
And then you can really be in charge. This is awesome. Well done. And a copy of Total Money Makeover. You can give it to somebody that's starting their journey, stir them up, cause a holy ruckus. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Well done. All right, Aaron and Maddie from Lee Summit. $40,000 paid off in 24 months, making 48 to 56. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1. We're debt free.
Yeah! Well done.
Man, I love stories like that.
It's wonderful. Pastor Randy Frazee and our buddy up there in Kansas City got the whole city,
Yes,
like
I
30
remember
or
that.
40 churches to go through Financial Peace University at one time, and they called it Margin. That was the campaign. I went up and spoke for them, and went up and spoke to the group of pastors. It was an incredible
incredible
movement.
time.
Incredible movement. He'll be proud to hear that he had a little part of that story. Very, very well done. Good job, Aaron. You're a rock star. This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones as we talk about your life and your money here on The Ramsey Show. Stephen is with us in San Diego. Hi, Stephen. Welcome to The Ramsey Show. What's up?
Hey, Dave.
Hey.
Hey, Dave. Good. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
So, I'm looking at paying off my house in the next few months, but I wanted to ask you if I'm in the financial if my money situation is where it should be in order for me to do that.
Okay, what's left on the mortgage?
About $95,000.
All right, and how much do you have in liquid cash right now?
About $135,000.
Okay, and what's holding you back from paying it off?
I don't know.
Is it just emotional?
Do you have other debt?
Yeah. Nope. I've never owned a credit card in my whole life.
What would a 3 to 6 months emergency fund look like for you?
Well, that was kind of my question, because once the house is paid off, I imagine my 6-month emergency fund would go down slightly because I don't owe anything on the house.
Agreed.
Sure. So if you paid off the house today, you'd still have $40,000 sitting there as an emergency fund, which I'm guessing is good for you?
Yeah, I mean, according to my wife, that's not quite what she wants. She would like to have a little more, but when I look at it, just from a money standpoint, from a number standpoint, it makes sense.
What's your household income?
About $125,000.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't disagree with your wife. If you wanted to have a little bit more, that's not a problem for me. But what I would do is say this: let's pay off the house today, and our first goal is to raise it from $40,000 to $50,000.
That was my thinking.
Yeah. You also don't have a payment in the world.
Raise it back up pretty quick.
It sounds like the security gland there is flaring up for her, but when you don't have a mortgage payment, man, it's going to open you up to a lot of options and very little stress.
Yes. Very man. Our original plan was to have it paid off by April, which would be my 40th birthday, which I was excited about. But when I sat down and started looking at the numbers, I was like, we can do this a little sooner if we really wanted to.
Tonight.
And
oh, I wasn't kidding.
And then you can plan a celebration trip on your 40th birthday instead of having to go to the bank.
Yeah, tonight, and then let's just scratch and claw and get her done, man. I mean, knock this out. Build up that emergency fund a little bit more, and then say, okay, now what's our next trip? What's the next thing we're going to do?
Yeah. Well, we've already, the funny thing is we've been planning this for so long. We've already spent so much money, and the house isn't even paid off yet because we're planning all these trips and all these ideas that we want to do once the house is done. We've been, sacrificing for so long, and we're right there.
Yeah. Wow. It's time. It's time. And, of course, you can tell her the same thing I always tell everybody. If you hate being out of debt, you can go get you a mortgage. Nah, that's not going to happen. Man. Yeah, way to go. You've done really well. You
saved up all this money for what? Let's pay off the house.
I feel like, George, we're the two guys on the bungee jumping off the side of the bridge, and we just tie people to the bungee, and they stand up there and look at us till we push them.
Yeah. Do it. Go. Right now. I'm scared of heights, Dave, so I'll let you be that guy.
Oh, no, we're not jumping. We're pushing.
Oh, yeah, I like that plan a lot better.
We've already done our jump. We're both debt-free.
Man, way to go, Stephen. That's awesome.
Well done, sir. Emily is with us in Portland, Maine. Hi, Emily. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, thanks so much. It's great to talk to you. I've been listening for about 6 months, so I'm new. I have a question about money in Canada. I lived in Canada for 9 years, and I'm recently back in the U.S. Canada allows you to catch up in retirement if you didn't put enough money in the past. And so I'm trying to decide whether to catch up. I didn't do a very good job with retirement up till now. Catch up some of what I didn't put in the past so in my Canadian retirement versus bringing all of that money into the U.S. and to put toward a house, my first house.
You're going to stay in the U.S.?
I'm staying in the U.S. now, yes.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to do everything in the U.S. I'm just going to move everything here.
Okay.
And manage your retirement accounts here and manage your house here and so forth, if that's where you're going to be. Because it's going to be hard to manipulate a retirement system in a country you don't live in anymore.
Right.
It's going to be a process. And it's harder to keep up with what's going on with it and so on. So, yeah, I'm going to use that. How old are you?
I'm 51.
Okay. Do you have other retirement money?
Yeah, so I have the equivalent of about $100,000 already in Canada, and then about $60,000 in the U.S. I'm just starting again in the U.S.
Okay. But if we get you in that house, then you can start on your U.S. and get a little bit more jacked up about it, right?
Okay, yeah. I have about $100,000 saved in the U.S. for a house so far.
Great. Oh, wow. Okay, so that'd give you a couple of hundred then. A couple of hundred to buy a pretty good house in Portland, won't it?
Yeah, pretty good. Although Portland's pretty expensive.
It is, yeah. Maine in general is expensive, but Portland's it's a wonderful town. I love it.
It is. I love it too. Yeah, really hard to stay away from.
It's pretty much a postcard every time you turn the corner.
Right. Yes. It's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, hey, congratulations. A good job. Yeah. That's fun.
Interesting. I never thought about the Canadian retirement, and I don't know the stipulations when it comes to retirement, converting that to U.S. dollars.
I don't either.
What that looks like.
To be honest with you, and I guess the conversion rate would play into it, but it's just kind of where you're going to make your home. You know, we don't buy rental properties in another state. We buy them in our neighborhood. You know, where you're going to make your nest, make your nest. It's kind of, that's more of the philosophy rather than the technical details that were driving my answer there.
Yeah. But I like the idea of her getting the house, getting that thing paid off, and then really jacking up the retirement for, 10 years.
Makes a lot of sense. Jacob is with us in St. Louis. Hi, Jacob. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
My dad had a stroke back in August of last year, and my mother relies on his pension. And with his mental status right now, she's pretty much a full-time caretaker. And he's becoming really hard to deal with, and so I'm trying to think of what's the best situation to do. And I've been kicking around ideas of, she could go to, or she could send him to a nursing home and she could come live with us because she's got debt. And her fear is that if he goes to a nursing home, she's going to lose everything because she can't afford it, and the nursing home's going to take all the money. Mm-hmm. And so, it would take us a little bit of money, but we could add on to our house, and she could stay with us for a time being, and she could get a job. And I'm also worried about her well-being,
mm-hmm.
and I'm just trying to think of the best route to go.
How old are they?
My dad is 65. My mom's 55.
Okay. All right.
And they don't have any savings at all.
Okay. So the only thing that she would lose would be her home, and she's not going to lose that. Here's the thing. Nursing homes, they're a simple transaction. They don't take things. You choose to buy their services or not buy their services, and you pay them for their services. It's like if you don't want the restaurant to take something from you, don't go over there and eat. So they don't have a gun. They're not forcing you, coercing you in any way. If your dad and mom meet the Medicaid guidelines for the poor, welfare nursing home is basically available, which is government-funded nursing home, in other words. And they have guidelines for that allow the spouse to keep the house, keep the primary residence, and up to a certain amount of cash. So if they don't have much cash and she wants to hold on to the house, that's probably doable for him to be on Medicaid nursing home. But you have to prove, like you do with anything with welfare, what your asset base is and what your income is to work with. And I don't know with his pension if he's going to qualify for Medicaid or not. That's what you have to look into. So I guess you've got to just continue gathering information and exploring your options out there. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey, it's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free scream live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. You jump in. We'll talk about your life, your money, your work, your relationships. It's what we do here at Ramsey Solutions. Thanks for joining us. Chris is with us to start off this hour in New York City. Hi, Chris. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
Great, man. What's up?
Oh, I got a great scenario for you. Well, I'm a full-time single father. I work full-time as a truck driver. My schedule is very tight. With my daughter's mother, we split custody. I have residential. I work about a 40 to 50-hour work week. And to get those extra 10 hours to have her help out and watch our daughter so I get a little bit of overtime is near impossible most days. I want to buy a house. I live in a one-bedroom apartment right now with me and my daughter. She's 2. Her bed is next to mine, and I want to give her a better life. I've been listening to you for a while. I have an emergency fund. I started a mutual fund, a Roth IRA. I have a pension through my job, a great union job. But I want to leave New York because I don't think New York is a great place for to raise my child, but I don't want to. I don't want to rip her away from her mom, but I don't know what to do. I thought I'd call and get advice.
So, how many hours a week do you have the 2-year-old?
Pretty much whenever I'm not at work, which is I get off work at 5. I pick her up at 5:30, and I have her
your ex-wife has the baby during the day?
Yes, she works at night. I work during the day. I like I said, I have a great union job, but I don't see myself living comfortably in New York. As you know, I'm sure you're well aware this place is turning into a communist regime, and I don't see much like future outside of this company. In this company, trying to like buy a house, I think it's a struggle.
What are the parameters for how far you could live?
I'm sorry, what was that?
What are the parameters for how far away you could live?
She's as in leaving like the state, right?
Well, if you were, let's say you're in New Jersey, or you were, on one of the islands there, what's the ramifications of that as far as transportation and getting your daughter to her mom?
Well, we both live in Suffolk County, further east in Long Island. She lives about 20 minutes away from me. Her mom has no license, no car. I'm driving back and forth every day to drop her off and pick her up. Trying to make the best out of a bad situation,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're in a tough spot. I don't know that, buying a house is going to happen in the next few years for you, but it's definitely attainable in the long term. Do you have any money saved up right now?
I have an emergency fund. I have about 11 grand in the bank about.
Okay.
The only way I would be able to buy a house, and I know you're probably going to be 100% against this, is going through like that. New York has a 2% rule or a 3% rule where you can put like 3% down and go through like all these programs. My company offers I think to help pay like 25 grand off the price of the house.
But there's stipulations with it.
Yeah, there's all these, there's always strings attached. Nothing's free.
Yeah, I don't like that part.
Yeah, that's the only way I'd be able to buy something. And
that's the only way you'd be able to buy something today.
Yeah.
So, okay, there's a couple of decisions you've got to make. You're going to have to line these things up. You've got a series of things that are all good things, but some of them are not as high on the list of good as others. Okay? Good thing.
Okay.
Good thing. You're able to share parenting with your ex. And that's good for the child. It's good for your all schedules. That's a good thing. Good thing. You're in your baby's life. And you're there all the time. Big time good thing, right? Good thing.
Yeah.
You've got a good job that you don't dislike. Bad thing. You don't like the political climate. Bad thing. The schedule you keep is wicked hard. Bad thing. Property's expensive in your area. You following me here? And sometimes if I just write those things out the way that I just laid them out there, I start going, okay, what is the most important thing? And I may not be able to get, is some of those bad things so bad that I've got to give up a good thing? An example would be, you decide, I'm not suggesting that this is true, I'm saying an example would be, metaphorically, that you decide that the political climate there is just absolutely untenable. I don't want to live here and I don't want to have my child here. Then even if that means changing jobs, even if that means being away from the child's mom, you're out of there. If that's that's the top thing on the list. But if that thing has to be tolerated in order to get some of the other good things, and it's further down the list, then you can do it. So when you kind of make this list and you go, okay, what is the most important thing on this list, bad or good, that's going to force me to make this decision? Because you're going to eat something here. You got too many things going on that are hard, and something here is just going to be hard. meaning you're going to move away, and that's going to be hard. Or you're going to stay, and that's going to be hard for a different reason. So what you're going to have to do is prioritize your decision-making out like that. And then once you decide, like, for instance, if you decide, okay, I'm going to put up with this crap, and I'm going to roll my eyes, and we're staying. Because it's so important that I'm near the X for the sake of the baby. Let's just say that that's your number one thing. Then that means you're going to put up with the political crap. And that means you're going to put up with this wicked, weird schedule. And that means now, in that environment, I start saving for a house, and it takes me 3 years, 4 years. I don't care. But we got a plan now, given the constraints. But otherwise, the constraints all just feel like chaos, and it steals the hope from the future.
Yeah, he needs a 5-year plan here, and she's going to grow up. She's going to go to school. The situation's going to change. Your income's going to go up. So have a long-term mindset and know that this isn't forever.
Yeah, I was wishing you were going to tell me the kid was 17.
That would have been nice.
So there'd be a little more light at the end of the tunnel. But this is an 18-year or a 16-year proposition we're looking at here. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
Well, it's book launch week for the book Baby Steps Millionaires. It is on the street, and it is in the wild, and it is selling like crazy. Thank you, guys. We appreciate your support. How ordinary people built extraordinary wealth, and how you can too. To complement the book launch and to continue the message that it is possible to be financially successful in America today. Don't let those hope stealers out there knock you out. Don't believe what they've got to say. They're wrong. Some of them intend to be wrong and lie. Some of them are just ignorant, but they're wrong. Don't let the hope stealer steal your hope. It can be done. We're going to prove that to you without you being desperate and greedy and out of control with crazy, crazy investing. We're going to talk about Building Wealth 2022 tomorrow night, Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central Time. George Camel to my right, Rachel Cruz, and I are going to discuss how to build wealth in this climate, in this current year, what's working, what's not, what's shiny, what glitters, what has a confetti cannon, what's boring and works every time. We're going to cover every bit of it. And it is the event is completely sold out. 1,500, 1,600 tickets in room, sold out in just minutes, days, whatever, very, very quickly. And we currently are over 120,000 people signed up for the live stream.
Is that a record?
That's no, it's getting close though.
Wow.
Getting close. Reset last year was about that size that we did. And but yeah, we'd love to have you. You can watch it on the live stream free. All you got to do is go to RamseySolutions.com/wealth and you can register for the free live stream. Did I mention it's free? It's going to take a couple of hours on whatever day that is, Thursday night, the 13th, tomorrow night. I hope I can still talk by then.
Did you launch a book this week?
I hope
What's
I
going
can still
on?
talk by then. My eyes are crossing. But yeah, check it out. Don't miss it. RamseySolutions.com/wealth. Wealth. We're glad you're here. Beth is with us in Houston, Texas. Hey, Beth, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, I have a wonderfully awesome problem.
Okay, I like those.
Yeah. Okay, so just a little foundation. Our house is paid off. We have saved for retirement. We have savings to get to for an emergency. We have no debt, and we have 3 kids that we have 529s for. The oldest one is 21. The second one is 20 years old, and then the baby is 18 years old. So I have 2 in college and 1 that's a senior. And the 2 in college, we have managed to cash flow all their college education so far because they had wonderful scholarships, and we knew that they were probably going to go on to secondary graduate school. The oldest one just got accepted to dental school, so in the fall she'll be doing that. And so
Dang, you guys are killing it, girl.
Wow.
Yeah, we planned ahead.
You got it going on.
Yeah. But so now what's happened, though, my wonderful problem is my in-laws gave the kids money for them, but they gave them $10,000 each, and our kids, being responsible, they're going to listen to us for what we say we should do with this money, and of course we want to save it for their education. So more so,
I thought education was covered.
Well, what we have saved probably won't get the oldest 2 through, that's not going to get them through dental school. The oldest one wants to go to dental school. She's been accepted. The second one wants to go to medical school. She's got a 4.0 in college, so I bet she will be able to go.
Yeah.
And so we have about $66,000 in 529s per kid.
Yeah.
And that's not going to get them through 4 years of dental and medical school.
Yeah, just drop it in the 529. It's only $10,000.
You think? Yeah, you think just dump it all in all at once, stagger it in, or should we just save
just drop it in there. Just drop it in there. You're going to be using it shortly. It's not going to be in there that long.
Well, that's what I thought. Instead of putting it in there and then pulling it right out, should that first semester for that oldest child just write it out the checking account?
It's fine if you want to do that. It's nothing, no problem either way. It is whatever growth it gets. If it's however long it's in there, is going to be tax free if you drop it in the 529. That's the only benefit. But it's not going to grow that much. If it doubled, it'd only be $10,000.
Yeah.
So it's not. If you just use it for that first semester, that's fine too. But yeah, definitely lay it on the education label without a doubt, because you got a lot of education bills still coming. And so if you want to run it through the 529 and let it sit there a little while, use some of the 529 money that's been in there a while, that's fine. But it's 6 and 1/2 dozen the other. It's still going to work out about the same.
There's not a long timeline here, so it's not like it's going to have 10 years to grow. So like Dave's saying, I'd be making a plan to try to cash flow dental school, medical school, all of that, considering you guys are debt-free. You've got some sharp kids that aren't afraid to work, aren't afraid to get scholarships. So it can be done, and I can't wait to hear you call us back and say, we sent all 3 kids debt-free, medical school, dental school. It can be done.
Wow.
That'll be cool.
Ugh, that's a bill right there.
Woo.
Yeah, we're biting it off here, man. This is big. But yeah, I think you may just go ahead and use it. Just dump it in the checking account, like you said. Use this $10,000 for the next check that comes up, and then just keep rocking. But Georgia's right. Pan back and let's get together a full plan. Y'all have done such a great job, Beth, getting to this point. I would hate to look up and each one of them have $400,000 in medical school and dental school debt at the end of the story after you got this far and did a great job. So be very aware that all medical schools are not equal in quality nor in cost, and they're not necessarily correlated. Same thing with dental schools. And honestly, some of the dental schools are absolutely insane. You should never go there based on what they cost.
Well, I just thought of the Barred Future documentary with our buddy who took out $1 million.
Had $1 million in debt, and he's an
orthodontist.
Orthodontist, yep. That's the thing, man. So, wow. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Kylie is with us in Houston, Texas. Hey, Kylie, how are you?
I'm good. Hi, Dave. Nice to talk to you.
You too. What's up?
So my husband and I are under contract for a house that we close on in 2 weeks, and he got a job offer in Colorado that we are really considering taking, but we're under contract, and we don't know if we should just walk away from the house and lose the money we put into it so far, which isn't that much, or if we should, because we won't be moving out there till the summer anyway. So I don't know if we should stay and then try and resell the house, because that's what, a lot of people are telling us to do with the market. But it seems like a lot of work to me and like a risk. And I'm just not sure what to do.
It's a lot of work and it's a risk, but you've given your word.
What do you mean?
I mean, you promised these people on paper you were going to buy their house.
Okay. Well, our realtor said we could walk away from it.
I don't give a crap what your realtor said.
Okay. Well, that's fine.
I mean, you do what you want to do, but if I told these people I was going to buy their house, I'd buy their house.
I want the house.
I mean, well, you're not staying there. You're not staying there if you're going to Colorado. But my point is that you have a moral obligation to honor a contract that you signed giving your word to buy a house. It's not those poor people's fault that you took a job afterwards. So you need to consider whether you take that job as a part of that situation. But I think you should close on the house because you said you would. Now, then, can you resell it and make money? I sure hope so, if you're going to Colorado. And I would actually put that in as a stipulation as a part of taking the job with a new employer, that they buy your house that you just bought.
Yeah.
If you can't sell it for a profit within X period of time. Or maybe you're not supposed to take this job. But I can tell you this, you're not going to call this show and me tell you to break your word.
I'm curious about the decision-making process. If there was a job offer, some interviews happening here while the new house is happening.
House has been under contract for a long time. It closes in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And then the job offer came out of nowhere. Some dude on LinkedIn called him, and he just got the hot foot. And so, no, I mean, you gave your word. You need to keep your word. That was old-fashioned.
Dude,
look at that. Old-fashioned. Wow. Grandpa said you shook your hand and you meant it.
I just like the word doob. I think we need to bring that back.
Yeah, well, LinkedIn doob in particular. This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions is George's wife on the debt-free stage. George, you're supposed to be out there.
Oh, all right then. Well,
you need to get moving.
All right, I'll get on the other side, Dave. Give me a moment.
All right, I'm going to fill for George while he makes it out to the debt-free stage. He's torn between being a co-host and a husband. And so we'll get him trotting out there. And, pretty good hustle there, George. That's good. All right, so George and Whitney are with us on the debt-free stage, and somewhere around 700 or 800 Ramsey Solutions people. George, you're costing me about $15,000 a minute here.
I knew you were doing the math. I knew you were doing the math. I don't even know half of these people. They're just here to not work.
Hey, you shouldn't say that about people celebrating for you. All joking and cutting up aside, George and Whitney are here to do their debt-free scream, the first Ramsey personality to ever do a debt-free scream. And this one's really special. How much did you guys pay off?
We paid off a little over $165,000.
Oh, $165,000. And how long did that take?
About 26 months.
26 months. And oh, by the way, what kind of debt was that?
It was the house.
Woo! Yeah! House and everything! I'm looking at weird people.
We are weird for
and
a lot
I
of
mean
reasons.
that so literally. You guys are incredible. Congratulations. Well, we have a rule with team members. Obviously, we're not going to ask your income since both of you work here. That would be highly irregular and uncomfortable, but pretty cool stuff. George, during the time you guys have been getting married, meeting each other, buying a house, you've both been working here, getting the debts paid off, and then buying a house and turn around knocking it out. Tell the story.
Yeah, so we met here, back in 2015 when Whitney started, and in 2018 we got married, and we started off our marriage debt-free thanks to the principals here. I had $40,000 in debt when I started back in 2013 as an intern, and I came in just learning this stuff, going through FPU, and decided, if I'm going to work here, I guess I should do this stuff and see if it actually works. And so I got out of debt in 2 years, and in 2018, we got married, and we just had some weird goals, being here around a lot of weird people. And so when it came time to buy our first house, we were renting for a little bit. We just had this weird goal of let's see how much we could put down for a house and then see how quickly we could pay it off. And so that's kind of how the whole thing started. And we were really just dreaming together saying, what do we want our life to look like? Do we want to work till 65? Do we want to have options? Do we want to go on incredible trips? And what could we do without a mortgage payment? So that's really what started that journey.
26 months later, the house is paid for from the time you buy it. That's pretty freaking incredible. And Whitney, you guys are truly opposites attract. George loves the spotlight. You detest it.
That's true.
You and I were in a meeting earlier today, and you're like, I'm not sure that I'm excited about doing this and this.
I had to do some coercing.
I'm here.
You're here.
Now, she's more of the eye candy, so she deserves the spotlight. I got a face for radio. That's why I sit next to you.
Good move. Well played.
Yeah.
Well played. But Whitney, now that you've done all of this, and you guys have both been here for a long time, you've been plugged into this whole process. Now that you're actually there, how does it feel?
I feel like it's still surreal. We kind of became addicted to paying off the mortgage. Each month we would look at what is extra in our budget, and we would do a lot of no spend months, which I know that sounds miserable to most people, but it almost was like a fun challenge of what are the things that we need to buy and what can we not do the things that we want to do. And that just helped expedite our goal and get our mortgage knocked out faster. But
y'all were a little bit too intense, actually.
Yeah.
You say you don't need to be gazelle intense, and I was like, no, we're and she was more intense than I was. I found an iPhone note from 2018, the month we got married, and I already was doing the math on how much we were going to put down, how quickly we were going to pay it off, and we had this wild...
He nerded out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Completely nerded out.
That hurts.
He's a numbers guy.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's good.
So we had a goal to pay it off in 4 years. That was our big, hairy, audacious goal. We're going to pay this thing off in 4 years. And Whitney said, nah, that sucks. We could do it in 3. It took my breath away.
Oh.
And then it
game
became
on.
a challenge. Yes.
Yeah, game on. The throw down the gauntlet, baby. Yeah. So, and 2 years and 2 months later, boom. Yeah. Just like that.
Just like that.
So what's the first big thing you're going to do to celebrate?
Well, Dave, we talk about this on air about how crappy my car is.
Yeah, we
did. upgrading the car is
we talk
is
about it off air too, because your car's crappy.
That's true. It's hurtful, but it's true.
No, it's just true. It's not a personal thing. It's just crappy.
Yes. So that's our A1, and then we would love to pay cash for our next house and upgrade and into something a little bigger as maybe we have a family one day. No announcements. Sorry if that got anyone excited there. We do have a dog, so I am a dog dad, which that word alone makes John Deloney. He's standing over here shaking his head.
Yeah, don't say dog dad, but you have a dog. But you are one of those people because you French bulldog people are all that way. So you brought the dog for the debt-free scream, right?
We did. It wasn't my idea. It was the entire team's idea.
And
they said, They said, hey, we'll dog sit. We're happy to do it.
Right. You got a whole bunch of dog sitters. Well, let's get the dog.
Yeah, my dog nanny is here with us today.
Your dog nanny.
You know her. Her name's Suzanne Sims. She's one of our board members and a fellow French bulldog lover. So there she is. This is Olive.
And Olive sheds.
She's a shedder.
She's a shedder. All Frenchies do. Oh my gosh, that's just way cute.
I know. I think this might be the first dog.
This is the first dog. No, I think we had a service dog one time. Olive is not a service dog.
No, she's special,
Olive,
but not like that.
requires service, but she's not a service dog. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
the only thing more high maintenance than Olive is me. I will say that. So it's fun.
That is great. Well, since you're talking about moving up, I think it is a good idea just to point out that you're a big time Ramsey personality. Both of you work here, but you're not making $2 million $1,000 a year, neither one of you yet. I hope you do someday,
Thank
but
you,
you're
Dave.
not yet.
Speak that over us.
And the other thing, so your home is modest. You're newlyweds.
It's a townhome.
You're young.
Yeah.
You just got married. You bought a townhome. Do you want to tell what it's worth or not? You don't have to.
Sure. Yeah, it's worth about $480,000.
Okay. All right. And it's paid off in 26 months, and you guys have been married
3 years.
3 years.
A little over 3 years.
Yeah. Okay. So very, very cool. Well, it's good that a Ramsey personality is an example of the things we talk about in so many ways, but it's not like a $4 million house on the beach or something like that. This is it's a modest, good starter home, and like you said, the next good big goal is save and move up in that, and before you do that, get out of that crappy car of yours.
Yes. And the big thing, Dave, was the Walk the Talk, this initiative we had in 2021 with our whole team to have this huge $25 million turnaround of debt paid off, dollars saved. And so that just fired us up, seeing all of the stories around this building of people that were paying off debt, leveling up in the baby steps. And it just reminded me of why we do this and my passion for this. And, Whitney was a huge part of that too, just getting fired up about how much faster can we do this? Can we do it before Walk the Talk is over in 2021? And so we made it by the skin of our teeth.
There you go. Well, thank you guys both for who you are as people. Thank you for who you are as an example, as a Ramsey personality, and as a couple here, and both of you working on the team are excellent team members and good friends, and we're just so proud of you. You guys are just amazing. George has gone all the way from intern through about 6 or 7 different positions over the years, has worked his way up, learned this stuff inside and out, lived it, and becomes a Ramsey personality in the last 24 months, and that is moving him into a whole different realm of things. He's always been on stage, not always, but for a lot of the time been on stage here as a host and other things, but now has moved into this role, and is you're killing it there as well. So you guys are just a picture of success. We're so proud of you.
Well, thank you for helping me meet my wife, Dave. Couldn't have done it without you.
I had nothing to do with it except payroll. But there you go. But I think maybe my family. No, was Whitney involved? I mean, was my family involved in this, Whitney?
Actually, no. This was a very organic.
You've hung out with a few of the family members. So I didn't know.
Oh yeah.
Good friends with Daniel's wife. Yeah. So all right, here we go, guys. It's Whitney and George. House and everything. $165,000 paid off in 26 months, and Olive. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free! Yeah! Wow! I love it. First French Bulldog and a debt-free scream. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, 1 Peter 5:8, be alert and of sober mind. Your enemy, the devil, prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. Leave your character with God. It is safe there. Men throw mud at it, but it will never stick long on a true believer. It shall soon come off, and you shall be the more glorious for men's slander. Charles Spurgeon said. There you go.
It's a good one.
There you go. That's strong. I don't think I've ever heard that quote before. I have heard there is no statues erected to critics. I have heard, which then someone sent me a statue of Roger Ebert. But
That's different. That's different.
I don't know who did a statue of Roger, but they did. And I've heard Aristotle said there's only one way to avoid criticism: say nothing, do nothing, and be nothing.
That's a favorite.
And the Eleanor Roosevelt quote is what small minds talk about people, mediocre minds talk about events, and great minds talk about ideas, or something along those lines.
You got a good memory. I'm impressed. It's like a Rolodex in there.
That's well, I've been doing these quotes of the day for 30 years. They stick in your brain, but the good ones do anyway. George, congratulations. That was
Thank
fun.
you. Yeah, that was an out-of-body experience. Very cool.
Olive made her YouTube debut.
Yes,
There
and
we go.
Kelly's letting me know, do not think that you can have your dog for your debt-free scream. That was a special privilege for me.
Because you're a Ramsey personality. As a matter of fact, I saw Deloney in the hall and told him he couldn't bring his. So, because his dog's pretty seriously ugly.
Yeah. It's true. It is true.
He said that. I mean, I'm just going with what he said.
We got a designer dog, so it comes with cuteness.
Yeah, it's got the cuteness factor going on for sure, no doubt about it. Oh, those Frenchies are great dogs.
Yeah,
and they got personality.
They do.
They got lots of personality. All right, open phones at 888-825-5225. Kenny is with us in South Carolina. Hi, Kenny. What's up?
Hey, sir. Just started listening to your show today while I was traveling, and honestly, I guess with your new book coming out, you've kind of been in the forefront of some things the last few days. I've had friends in the past that talked about some of your philosophies and that kind of thing, but with most things, I thought it was getting to the point where I could be debt-free. I thought I had to have money in order to do so. My biggest question after listening to you and hearing some of these very inspiring stories, including George's today, congratulations on your debt-free
thank
life
you,
as
Kenny.
well, sir. But I want to get to that point myself. But our problem is we live paycheck to paycheck, and we're taking care of some our elderly parents and that type of thing, and we don't have a lot of disposable income at the end of the month. As a matter of fact, in some months we do have to extend things out with credit cards and that type of thing, but we want to get to that point.
All right. I'll tell you what, George is going to jump in and give you a plan. Before I forget, though, I'm going to go ahead and tell Kelly we're going to put you on hold and send you a copy of the new book, Baby Steps Millionaire, and a copy of Total Money Makeover, both. That's a 1-2 punch that'll get you rolling, brother. But George will give you a line up here.
Well, Kenny, thank you so much for checking out the show and giving us a call. That's incredible that you just were listening today and decided to call in. So tell me about your situation. What's your household income and how much debt do you have?
We make gross about $75,000 to $80,000 a year, and right now we're probably $350,000 in debt.
Does that include your house, or is that just consumer debt?
That is house, student loans, and vehicle, and that type of thing.
Okay. Well, let's separate the house for now. Let's put that aside. How much consumer debt do you have outside of the house?
The student loans and vehicle, probably 200 of that.
Wow. Okay.
And how much of that is vehicle?
50,000.
Okay, so 150 in student loans, 50 in a car or cars, and 150 on the house.
Right.
Okay.
All right. And are you guys doing a monthly budget right now, or is this new to you?
Well, I know what my budget is. My wife hers fluctuates a bit because, like I say, her situation with her mother. You know, we're paying some bills for them to supplement what they're not getting based off Social Security and retirement and that type of thing.
They live with you?
You know, my mother does, but her mother does not.
Okay.
Are you guys covering your four walls right now? Are you able to cover food, utilities, shelter, transportation without issues?
Yeah, for the most part.
Okay. Well, at that point, if you've got stable income and you're stable on those fronts, and you're making all of your payments on your bills?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How much do you have cash right now in liquid savings and everything?
My savings, we probably got $10,000 to $12,000 put aside.
Okay. And how much do you love these cars? I mean, could you sell these cars right now and help speed up this process of paying off some debt and get something cheaper?
Possibly, yes.
Okay.
Is it one car or two, the 50?
It's two.
What's the expensive one?
New truck.
And it's how much?
Just purchased.
How much?
The debt on it's about $35,000.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, Kenny, you asked, and so we're going to tell you.
Sure, yeah.
All right. Number one thing is when you guys sit down together, you and your wife together, combine your efforts, combine your incomes, and combine your messes. Okay? Your messes are the debt. the household that you got to support, a little help for her mom and dad that aren't there, a little help for your mom that is there, or vice versa, whatever it is, whatever it's taken to cause these things to happen. But we are now one. We don't run two different things. You're not roommates, you're husband and wife. We're going to be on one budget. As a matter of fact, we're going to go even further than sending you those two books. I'm going to go ahead and put you into Ramsey Plus, which signs you up for Financial Peace University to go through the class. And you and your wife can go through that together. You can either go to a local church and go through it, or you can go online and watch the videos, either way, or both for that matter. So I'm going to give you the full freaking enchilada.
The trifecta.
I think you're going to do it all. But here's what you're going to end up doing. It may take you a little while to get there emotionally, but the two of you combining all of your income and then giving EveryDollar a name on purpose before the month begins. Part of Ramsey Plus is the EveryDollar budgeting software. Makes it very, very easy to do. You don't need to be an accountant. You don't have to be any good at software, anything like that. This is going to make it like using a yellow pad to lay out a budget in detail. But if you do it in detail and you do it together, you're going to feel like you got a raise, because there's a level of waste in all the disorganization. There always is for all of us, and you're not an exception. The second thing is you shouldn't have a vehicle that is 50% of your dadgum income, especially when it's in debt, and especially when you got all these other households you're trying to support, and especially when you've got this much student loan debt. So I'm sorry, brother, but that truck's gone. It was insanity when you bought it, and we're going to get rid of it, because I want you to get your life back so you can drive anything you want to drive in a few years. I'm not saying you never do that in your life, but I'm saying at this stage of the game, you're broke, you can't pay attention. You called a national radio show saying I can't even make bills without going into credit card debt every month. And so something's got to change here. And so we're about to clean this mess up, and it's going to get radical. And we're going to be on beans and rice and beans. We're not going to see the inside of a restaurant unless we're working there as an extra job. We're not going on vacation. We got a dadgum mess to clean up here. And you just draw back your fist and you punch a hole in this wall, man. That's what you're going to do. And we're going to show you how to do that with great intensity with your wife together. And I'm also going to say that the set of parents that are living on Social Security that aren't under your roof, we're probably going to put them on a budget too, because they need to get their crap together so you don't have to support them. They need to live on what they've got coming in, if at all possible. I don't want them to go hungry. I'm not trying to be mean, but they're probably doing the same kind of junk. They may have a car sitting in the driveway you're paying a payment on indirectly, screwing around with this stuff. So you got to clean up.
Yeah, you sell this truck, it's going to kickstart this whole process, and the book and Ramsey Plus, it'll lay all this out for you, but you're going to have a starter emergency fund of $1,000, so take all of that out of savings, and the rest of the money you now have is going to go towards those debts from smallest to largest, regardless of the interest rate.
Take $5,000 of the $10,000 and go buy you a $5,000 truck to drive for right now till you get this mess cleaned up. No payments. Boom, I just got rid of $750 a month.
I love it. Kenny, call us back when you're debt free.
Call us back if you want more encouragement.
Yes.
Hey, man, we're here to help you, brother. All kidding aside, you can do this stuff. That's why I'm giving it all to you, so you can go get it done. And you call us back if you need help along the way. We'll be happy to help you. George, congratulations.
Thank you, Dave. Fun times at the Debt Free Screen.
Thanks to James, Ben, and Kelly in the booth. I'm Dave Ramsey. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.